Our Connection Superstore here, welcoming Titantown Sports coming up next.
And we are once again back here on Titantown Sports. I am RJ Scott, and we have a great episode for you today. I am with my partner today, Braylon Juszczyk. Braylon, how are you doing?
I'm great, RJ. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to talk some Titantown Sports.
Now, is this your first time on the chair,
Yes,
right?
sir, it is.
Oh, wow. Hopefully no mistakes, right? We got a lot of fun-filled segments today, a lot of previews, a lot of highlights, lots of, we got today's September 11th, obviously. We have a preview and a privilege to show something with that. So let's get into the first segment as we have Prime Cuts by yours truly, RJ Scott, here on Titantown Sports. Welcome back to another edition of Prime Cuts. I am RJ Scott, and this week we have a quick preview of this week's upcoming game against Franklin and Marshall, along with a recap of the Marietta game here today. The Titans fell short to the visiting Pioneers, 12-8 in a home loss. Senior quarterback Ty McGowan would pass for 106 yards and a touchdown, with his leading receiver of the game being Tate Beachy with 4 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, the Titans only gave up 12 points, with Dylan Sleva breaking a PAC record with 25 tackles in a single game since 2017. The Titans travel to Lancaster, PA to play the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats this Saturday at 1 p.m. as the Diplomats look to defend their home turf against the traveling Titans. With their sights set on the Diplomats, here are some highlights from this past game with Mark Slazak on the call along with Jacob Rhodes.
Clayton Cannon beside him. McGowan back to pass. Looking, loading, going long for Bright Cannon. He made the catch! At about the 40-yard line, over the shoulder. Oh, the future Bright. Bright Cannon with a grab for a big Titan first down. Brother, back to pass. McGowan looks and runs. A lot of room. 40, 45, breaks a tackle, spins through another, and he's got a first down. This one's going to be high, and it's going to be Bright Cannon from the 7. Cannon, 10, 15, and he's in open field. 20, 25, 30. Oh, he's on the run across midfield. One man to beat to the 40 and banged out of bounds by the kicker. And Bright Cannon electrifies the crowd with a big kickoff return to start the second half. First and 10 from the 33. McGowan looks left, steps up, and now runs and slides across the 30. Got hit on the slide. The flag comes in.
Personal foul. Late hit on the defense, number 10.
And McGowan fakes left, rolls right, fires end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. A toe tap touchdown by the magician. Tate Beachy with the score. Touchdown, Titans.
Great throw there by McGowan, finding his high school teammate and his favorite target thus far at Westminster College.
Corona has a bad snap. Sanson rolls, fires for the end zone. I think it's caught. It's going to be a two-point conversion. Greg Sanson throws it up for grabs, and Nate Wadsworth, the tight end, and blocking, pulls it in for a big two-point conversion. 4th and 1, hand to Lewis, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage and pulled down. It's short, and the Titans will take the football. A turnover on downs. Right. Here's the snap, and the handoff to Hodges up the middle. He's going to be stuffed at the 35. Westminster will use their last timeout. 1st and 10 from the 29. McGowan back to pass. Pressure coming, and he'll run. And he's still running across the 35 to the 40. He's still running to the 50. He's to the 45. Still not going down. Finally pulled down at the 44-yard line. The ball may have come out. Marietta says they have it. We'll wait for an official call. Marietta comes out of the pile with the ball, and it's Marietta football.
With the Titans fighting all the way till the end, that would still not be enough to beat the Pioneers in the bowl game rematch, as they would fall 12-8. That is all for this segment of Prime Cuts. I am RJ Scott, and I will see you next week.
We'll get his first win.
Bit of heartbreak on Thursday night for Westminster, but now we're going to take a break, go inside the huddle with head coach Scott Benzel. Coach, welcome back to Titantown Sports.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Love having you here. You said after the loss to our Ethan Kurtz that you had to, quote, clean up and get better after that Marietta loss. Following that, a long week you played Thursday. What improvements have you seen this week from your team?
Attention to detail is getting better. There's still a lot of things that we got to do to fix Thursday's result. But again, opening football games are always challenging because you have an idea of what you have, and then you go out and play a really good opponent. And from that aspect, they exposed some things that we need to do better. Obviously, from a defensive fit standpoint, I think we did a better job of addressing that. Then offensively, just getting better in terms of learning our assignments, learning our details. Those things were addressed. Our players understand that, so we had a good week of practice.
You're going on a long road trip now to Franklin and Marshall, and overnight your first into the bowl game in Canton. I asked you last year if a drive to Bethany to St. Vincent, if that was worrisome for your team. You kind of laughed. You said, like, I coached in the Northeastern Conference. We were doing 8-9 hour road trips. Now 4.5 hours makes Bethany St. Vincent look like a puddle jump, really. So how is your team preparing for the longest trip ahead of the season?
I don't think the team has to worry about it in terms of the details. Logistically, we do a nice job of making sure that our guys are on a schedule that allows them to relax and still yet be focused on the football game. And so what you don't do is you don't condense or do it what I would say haphazardly. Don't plan it accordingly. We've done a really nice job of planning it where we're going to get on the site of the facility and practice actually at F&M, and then get a chance to stay at a hotel, do a team meal together, and then have meetings afterwards. And then in the mornings, we're really good about scheduling their time and making sure they're efficient. So that stuff, to me, is what makes traveling a lot easier. You have to do it the right way. I learned that from Joe Walton a long time ago, and him being a former NFL guy, he was good at teaching us that.
You've got going from a run-heavy offense in Marriott. I think Vontae Hodges had the ball in his hand every other play. Run-heavy offense in Marriott, and now you go to Franklin and Marshall. They're a pass-first offense. So what's that transition planning, defensive transition planning look like?
Yeah, it put some different stressors on the back end. We weren't really challenged much in the pass game last week. They had a new quarterback. That's not the case this week. Ty Tremba, their starting quarterback, is a 3-year starter. He's on the cusp of being their all-time leading passer, and he's got great targets across the board. So, yeah, we're going to get our first taste of really what that's going to look like. I'd like to sit here and tell you that we got it all fixed. The reality is we don't. We're going to have to make some adjustments as the game goes. But, what always helps is total discipline in terms of where we're supposed to be. Don't try to do too much, and then put pressure on them. If we put pressure on them, we'll be much easier to handle that aerial attack.
59 total passing touchdowns in Ty Tremba's career so far, but you guys played well on the road last year, 4-1 as the away schedule. What has happened in this year to allow that success to continue on these road trips?
Yeah, you hope there's some carryover from your leadership. Guys that have been in the program understand that it is a business trip. We say that a lot, but they have to be able to articulate that and implement that. What that means is there's got to be a different level of focus when you play on the road. There's a lot of distractions that can be used as excuse. Our guys need to do a much better job of just understanding it's still a game. Again, whether we're at home or we're at a foreign stadium, the reality is we got a 60-minute ball game, and we've got we've got to play accordingly. Especially when you're on the road, though, you got to get off to a great start. You can't come off the bus sleepy. You got to get ready to go. So that's going to be a big key for us.
And then, like your other 3 keys, and look at that, you already knew it, Coach. Your 3 keys to victory against Franklin.
Yeah, fast start, number 1. On the road, you got to be able to get off the bus, man, and that's a big part of it. The second one is our defensive patience has got to be there. We played a fairly patient game last week. We're going to be even more patient this week because of, to me, there's still an ongoing adjustments with our offense. And then offensively, I think really the big thing there is stay disciplined. We've got to be able to, when we're asking for an 8-yard route, we got to run an 8-yard route. It sounds simple, but we can't overthink this. Do your job, and we should be okay.
Coach, we appreciate you. Good luck on Saturday. There'll be some more PAC action on Saturday. Let's take a look at how those PAC schools did in Week 1.
Welcome to the PAC Football Recap for Week 1. Starting off in Meadville, Allegheny battled Denison. Both teams traded huge defensive plays throughout the entire game, but it was Denison's Tyler Green who helped the Big Red outpace the Gators. Green had a rushing touchdown and 2 passing touchdowns. Then the defense came through and iced the game for Denison. The Big Red win 35-24. Now heading over to Chester, Pennsylvania, Widener's offense exploded early and often in their 44-18 rout over Geneva. the Pride built up a 24-0 lead with big plays including touchdown passes to Kylil Jones and this 70-yard bomb to Malachi Holmes. Geneva tried to battle back, but the Pride put the nail in the coffin with this Alexander Cintron pick six. Widener of Geneva, 44-18. Now down to Latrobe, Pennsylvania for head coach Casey Goff's debut as the Bearcat head coach. You see Tristan Doy there fighting for a 22-yard touchdown in the first quarter. The Bearcats came to play in their season opener, beating Hilbert 28-7. Quarterback Jake Phillips had 4 passing touchdowns and nearly 200 yards through the air. And linebacker Nathan Parker joins the St. Vincent record books, totaling 18 tackles, the most tackles in a single game in their program's history. St. Vincent defeats Hilbert 28-7. Flipping now to Teal and Concordia, the two went to battle this past weekend with the Falcons getting the best of the Tomcats. The Falcons rode a big 21-point second quarter to get the 27-8 victory over the Teal Tomcats. Taking a trip now to Washington, Pennsylvania for the Presidents and head coach Mike Sirianni in their Week 1 matchup against Utica. It was a high-scoring shootout between the Presidents and the Pioneers getting the best of the Presidents, scoring in every quarter, including a 21-point third quarter to pull away. W&J fought back late, but it was too late. Utica left Washington with a W, 49-31. The top 25 nationally ranked John Carroll University looked sharp versus the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets this past weekend. JCU scored on 5 first-half drives and went into the halftime break with a dominant 38-0 lead, forcing turnovers and converting consistently on offense. Waynesburg kept it closer in the second half, but the blue streaks from John Carroll were just too much for the Yellow Jackets. John Carroll wins it 48-14. Now time for a Thursday night slugfest and rematch from last year's Open Doors Extra Points Bowl. This time the Marietta Pioneers traveled to New Wilmington and dominated on the ground. Senior running back Fonte Hodges and quarterback Antoine Johnson combined for 193 rushing yards. Pair that with a stifling defense, and Marietta bests the Titans of Westminster 12-8. In other news, Grove City gets their revenge on Cortland, beating the number 10 ranked team in the nation. Case Western and Rowan ended in a 17-17 tie due to weather interruptions. Bethany and Hiram both dropped their season opener, Bethany 41-6 and Hiram 65-27. That was your PAC recap. Now, sending it back to the guys at the desk.
A lot of good games played across the PAC this past weekend, and it was a very action-packed schedule. A lot of good teams playing PAC opponents, and that's what we like to see as the conference continues to grow and they continue to find hard opponents to play. And Raylan, you have something about 9/11 today, a very tragic day, but something you would like to share.
Yeah, RJ, unfortunately, it is that time of year, but we would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to recognize the significance of today's date. Today marks 24 years since the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001, which forever changed the world as we knew it. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in New York City, Washington, D.C., and near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, in the deadliest attack ever on American soil. More than 2 decades later, people across the nation will pause to honor the victims and their families and reflect on the courage and sacrifice that emerged in the aftermath. Ethan Kurtz has a story about one of those heroes we lost and how his life continues to impact others all these years later.
New York City, the world's capital, the city that never sleeps. Home to a breathtaking skyline and magnificent architecture, including a pair of towers, the World Trade Center. On September 11, 2001, in the most horrifying attack in American history, a plane crashed into the North Tower at 8:46 a.m., followed by another that struck the South Tower at 9:03 that morning.
A third plane hit the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and a fourth, that's destination was unknown, landed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
In total, 2,997 individuals lost their lives as a result of the tragic events on September 11. One of those being Wells Remy Crowther, a man that worked inside the South Tower. Known as the Man in the Red Bandana, his efforts helped save at least 18 individuals. Westminster lacrosse head coach Anthony Accardi, a 2011 graduate of Nyack High School, the alma mater of Wells Crowther, tells the heroic story.
The story of the Man in the Red Bandana is a story about Wells Remy Crowther. He was a hockey lacrosse player at Boston College, and after college he was a firefighter, and he worked in New York City, and when 9/11 happened, he was in the building, and he actually escaped the building before the collapse of the two towers. And basically the red bandana part comes into play because his dad had always given him a red handkerchief and a white handkerchief, right? The white handkerchief, right, was for use, and the red was for show, right? And basically, when the towers got hit, when he escaped, just what his parents had taught him, he went back up into the towers. Unfortunately, Wells Remy Crowther did not make it. Basically, weeks, months after 9/11, stories were coming out of this mysterious man in the red bandana, and no one knew who he was, right? And the individuals that were saved kept talking about this figure who was just wearing a red bandana who saved their life. And Mr. and Mrs. Crowther heard that story and instantly knew that it was their son, right? Because his dad had always given the red handkerchief. When I was in high school at Nyack, every year during the lacrosse season, Mr. and Mrs. Crowther would come out to our lacrosse practice and tell the story of her son, right? And they would always hand out red bandanas to our entire team. So my entire high school lacrosse team would wear these red bandanas under their helmets every single lacrosse game. Now Nyack High School has, real fancy uniforms with the red bandanas kind of throughout it. But it was, as a young, high school student, and, I'm old enough to really remember 9/11, it was kind of gut-wrenching hearing that story because it was always a very emotional story. Mom and Dad would be telling the story, but, crying, and, it was really heartfelt. And it was cool to, really be associated with, Wells, just because of the same high school we went to. We also had a 9/11 memorial garden on campus, so we'd always do a little garden cleanup, with Mr. and Mrs. Crowther.
On March 22nd, this past season, Westminster men's lacrosse traveled to New York for a matchup with Manhattanville University. The Titans claimed an 11-10 victory in triple overtime, but that was only part of the good from the trip. Prior to the game, the Titans practiced at Nyack High School and heard Mrs. Crowther tell the story of her son and distribute red bandanas. Following the game, the team went into New York, visiting the 9/11 memorial, where they left behind red bandanas in honor of the life of Wells Crowther.
So for you guys to get there and witness that, and a lot of the guys on our team already knew of the story of the man in the red bandana, that was pretty cool for you guys to kind of witness that. And then obviously Mrs. Crowther came out to the practice and told you guys I had a little surprise for you, and I think that was a pretty cool moment, having you guys just listen to her talk and share the story. And obviously you guys all got your red bandanas, and then after a triple overtime win against Manhattanville University, we got to go to the 9/11 memorial in New York City, and that was cool. We got to go to the tower where Wells Remy Crowther's name was listed on it, and a couple guys left their red bandanas behind. And what's really cool for me is seeing a couple of you guys still have those red bandanas tied to your pennies or on your travel bags. But that was a pretty cool moment, and I learned a lot about leadership and selflessness, and that was pretty cool for you guys to witness that same story I heard many, many years ago.
Today and every day, we honor those that lost their lives as a result of the devastating events on September 11, 2001. We thank those first responders and citizens that gave everything, like Wells, to help others. On the 24th anniversary of the attacks, we still aim to never forget.
Football changed my life a lot. It was a lightning rod because when I found football, I needed it.
Football has provided an opportunity for me to do things that I never dreamed possible. Coaching was the avenue, and it opened so many doors for me.
Football takes you to places that you didn't think you could go, and now you begin to have more confidence in who you are and what you can do and in your dreams and so many other things. I'm so grateful for this incredible game for so many different reasons.
And welcome back to Titantown Sports. I'm RJ Sky here with my partner, Brilliant Juzak, and we have a great upcoming volleyball segment. I did a segment on them previously, and we have a great coach here, Tammy Swearinger, a lot of good players, a lot of players that made the preseason's watch list, and we get a preview, to say the least, of what they did in Case Western, as they have a very eventful season up, because we know they like to win, and they win a lot. As we know, Coach Tammy Swearinger loves those PAC titles. Let's take a look at this recap.
The Westminster women's volleyball team took a trip to Cleveland, Ohio, to play on Friday, September 5th and Saturday, September 6th in the Case Western Reserve Invitational. They started the invite by playing against a tough Earlham College team. Westminster lost a close first set to Earlham 25-23, but then managed to win the next 2 sets in a row. Although they lost the match in a 5-set battle, the players are learning a lot from the non-conference games.
We get to be more comfortable playing with our new players and get better at those setter-hitter connections.
Next on the slate for the Titans was Heidelberg College. Senior outside hitter Rachel Salvia, junior outside hitter Liv Trent, and sophomore setter Morgan O'Brien led the way for the Titans with 9 kills apiece. In a tough match with Heidelberg, the Titans lost 3 very close sets. To round out the trip to Cleveland, Ohio, the Titans faced off against a very tough Case Western team. The host of the tournament, Case Western, was nationally ranked number 25 going into the 2025 season.
I don't think there's too much of a difference since we only lost 3 of our seniors last year, and I think we all meshed really well, but I think we got a lot of girls in that have a diverse skill set, so that's good when we need to fill those holes in the lineup, and we can put girls anywhere.
Westminster came out firing against the Spartans, scoring a 25-21 win in the opening set. Even at 20 all, Westminster scored 5 of the 6 final points to secure the set win. Case Western ended up taking the final 3 sets, but Morgan O'Brien, sophomore setter for the Titans, finished with a 10-kill, 12-dig double-double. It was her first this season. Senior setter Angie Nardone had a great performance as well. She matched her season high with 23 assists to go along with 9 digs.
We played bigger teams. We knew it was better competition. We didn't get the outcome we wanted, but we learned a lot.
The new Titan players seemed to be getting acclimated to the team very quickly as well.
I know that me especially, I really enjoy coming in to meet new girls and just learn how to play with them, and especially like bonding over nights. I think that's really good because then you're more comfortable with them on the court and when you're playing. I think that just the game is super fast. I mean, we run faster sets, defense moves faster, teams hit harder. So I just think really like learning how to react to the pace of the game is the biggest thing.
Coming up, Westminster will travel to Worcester, Ohio to play in the Worcester Ginny Hunt Kilt Classic. They will play 4 matches total, 2 on Friday, September 12th, and 2 on Saturday, September 13th. I'm Tom Rook, and that's all I have for you. A huge thank you to Zoe Reed for her help with this segment.
Now, back to you, RJ and Braylon.
You got it.
A great segment right there by Tom Rook and Zoe Reed. The women's volleyball team have gotten a lot of games in so far before the conference play has even started. As they play Wednesday, September 17th versus Teal in a conference opener. They also travel this weekend to Worcester for a volleyball tournament as they look to show their prowess on the court. I think it's Worcester. Correct me if I'm wrong, Braylon. It's Worcester.
I think it's Worcester. I don't know.
That's very deceiving to say the least, because that's 2 O's. Worcester. You decide. I don't know. But anyway, up next, we have a very interesting segment. We got some soccer recap, don't we, Braylon?
Yeah, RJ. I had a chance to interview some soccer players this week. Look at what they've been doing and how they've been doing the past couple weeks through their opening games. And yeah, let's head to some soccer recap right now. Both the Titans' men's and women's soccer teams' 2025 campaigns have recently begun. Both teams, unfortunately, finding some struggle early on. I had the chance to interview starting men's goalkeeper, junior Aaron Snyder, to get his thoughts on the coaching change and how to turn things around for the rest of the season.
I think that this year we'll be a lot more tactically sound and we'll have a lot more organization, especially defensively this year. And honestly, I think he'll bring in a lot of new guys that maybe wouldn't have come here before. I think we need to definitely involve the midfield a bit more and, keep the ball a lot better. But we're making small improvements and we'll get there. I think we got a couple of decent freshmen that filled in some holes, especially in the defense. And honestly, all 4 of the guys in front of me have been doing pretty well. And we're improving a lot. So I think we'll be looking good for the next couple games.
The men's team resumes home play on September 20th when they take on PAC opponent Carnegie Mellon, right here in New Wilmington at UPMC Sports Complex. Transitioning over to the women's team, they're looking to find more success down the road as well, just like the men's team is. After a PAC title game loss to Grove City last year in an absolute thriller, the Titans have opened up the year 0-2-1 with losses to Juniata and Lycoming. With Coach Girish Dakar recently stepping down as the men's head coach for Ryan Francis, he will be able to focus all of his attention on returning to that desired PAC championship game once more. The Titans did return 2023 All-American superstar goalkeeper Morgan Murphy. She recorded 5 saves against Juniata and Lycoming in back-to-back games. Offensively, the Titans have only netted 2 goals throughout 3 games. One of those goals coming off the foot of junior Abby Whaley in their 1-1 draw against Mount Aloysius. The other coming in recent loss to Lycoming by senior and Utah native Chloe Lindquist. The women are back on UPMC Sports Complex on Friday, September 12th, where they take on an OAC opponent in Wilmington. Let's go Titans. Super fun segment to produce right there. Soccer recap, a lot of good stuff. Hope both the teams could turn their seasons around shortly here. And RJ, coming up next, we had a segment that you seemed to be pretty excited about earlier.
Oh yeah, so I know you guys remember Mural Minute. Very good segment, still going on. But we got some things working at Titantown Sports right now. I got to dab a little bit with my partner Peyton Mel, by the way, who's not on camera ever, but he's a phenomenal partner. Love him to death. He got some good B-roll for this segment. We call this one The Vault. Let's check it out.
You want to take a look at the National Championship Trophy. That's Gene Nicholson right there. He'll get the winning coach as well. Stay here just a minute or two and see if we can pick up the awards ceremony for the folks back home. I don't know if we'll have all the sound. That is the National Championship Trophy. Titan names have been on there 5 times.
December 17th, 1994 is a date forever remembered in Titan athletics history, as the Titan football team traveled to Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon to play and conquer Pacific Lutheran in an NAI Division II National Championship game. In this game, a legend was made. Quarterback Sean O'Shea was a senior and a local kid from Cranberry, Pennsylvania. Graduating from Seneca Valley High School, he was a small-town kid with big dreams. He would lead the Titans in a victorious effort over the Utes 24-7. He would go 10 for 21 with 115 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and he would also rush for 28 yards on 11 attempts. And on that day, he avenged a loss in the previous year to the Utes. He would secure second-team NAI All-American honors as a senior, and as a junior in 1993, he was an honorable mention All-American after leading Westminster to the national title game. O'Shea earned playoff game MVP honors both as a junior and a senior, and finished his career with a 27-5 record as a starter. He completed 359 of 609 passes and passed for 4,952 yards and 40 touchdowns in his career. Sean O'Shea would later graduate in 1995 and also later be inducted in 2004 in the Titan Sports Hall of Fame with a plethora of legends.
Looks to the end zone, McNeil. Can he bring it in? He does, yes. There it is, one-on-one coverage. And as I said early in the game, challenge those people one-on-one. Excellent there. You see Nate Armstrong having an excellent pass and an outstanding.
Little did the Titans know years later that they would be getting his son, Sean O'Shea Jr., a sophomore quarterback for the Titans, as he looks to make his mark this Saturday on the road as he gets to start against Franklin and Marshall. Can he add to the great legacy of his father in Titan football? We'll find out. Another good segment right there, the Vault news segment hopefully we got coming up. Just, giving our dues to all the great Titan legends we have in Titan athletics, because there's a plethora of them. This school has been around for ages, as we know, and we got to, highlight a very special athlete in Sean O'Shea Sr. But now we got some Titan talent trivia, and I'm very excited for this. Let's see. Which current Westminster Titan is carrying on a new Wilmington legacy with his father having won a national championship for Westminster? A, Jackson Hendershot. B, Parker Lyons, C, Morgan Murphy, or D, Sean O'Shea? Well, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. If he has a son, you put a junior there, right? I mean, I don't know.
That's what I thought. I mean, you have a junior, RJ.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how it's supposed to go down. But
what are you going with?
This is a. I think I'm gonna have to go with D, Sean O'Shea.
I'm gonna go with D too. Let's see. What is it? Oh my goodness! It's like we saw the second beforehand. I don't know. Anyway. Sean O'Shea Jr. gets to make his mark this Saturday against Franklin Marshall at 1 o'clock in Lancaster, PA. The Titans will travel. Hopefully you guys are watching, listening in to Ben Kelly as he travels there. And that is all for this rendition of Titan Town Sports. Braylon, your first time, how you feel?
Absolutely amazing, RJ. I had a lot of fun. Can't wait for next week. See you later on Titantown Sports.
You know it.
I'm Sean O'Shea, sophomore quarterback here at Westminster, and that was Titantown Sports. See you next week.